Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. And if you're returning, welcome back. And if you're already subscribed, hit the likes button. And if you're passing through, hit the subscribe button and the likes button. You'll enjoy it here. And welcome to all of my new subscribers. And if you're clicking on the channel and you don't want to see the video, click off. I don't mind. So today I came across this video and I was kind of shocked at this video because I guess I shouldn't be shocked at anything else that goes on these days with anything, but this just really shocked me. This is a story about a mother that left her baby home for 10 days, a little 16-month-old toddler, for 10 days while she went on vacation. And she left the kid home. I shouldn't say the kid, this precious little angel home for a total of 10 days. Now, in the story, they said, some people said, mentioned 11 days. And then the judge, which I'm going by what he said, left her home, the baby home for 10 days while she went to Puerto Rico. And I thought, what? Are you kidding me? She left the baby in a pack and play with milk and crackers. And the baby was heard, which I'll play the audio, crying. And it was really sad. So I actually put this video out earlier this week, but due to so many technical difficulties, I thought I'm not going to put this poor quality video out to play this video. So I'm just going to play the video that I had originally put out and then make a commentary on it. And then I also have some other video to show you all as well. So I'm going to bring this video up to the stage that I made the other night. And I'm just going to play that video and do some commentary on that. So we're going to start with I believe this is when they were actually, let's see, we'll go back if I can. Okay, so I'm going to go back a little bit. And this is the front part of her house. So this is before the detectives, I believe, were interviewing her. And this is the car. So this is the camera angle where her car was seen leaving her house. And so they're interrogating her and they're saying to her, did you leave? What time did you leave? You need to tell us the truth, so on. So that's me going in. So let's see, I'm going to unmute and we will play.
Memorandum, it says that her abrupt stopping of medications played a significant role in her ability to function as a parent and make sound decisions. So when we look at, these are items from her phone, her actions indicate to us that she is in Puerto Rico having a good time with friends, and that there is not a care in the world about the 16-month-old that was left alone in the pack and play. These pictures show somebody who is showing.
Now let me see here. Let me see if I can go back. Is there any more pictures? Okay, so Okay, so that's her. And here she's at the beach in Puerto Rico. So this is, let me just start from the beginning first. This is a young woman that they said that she had, a hard life. Now, I had heard bits and pieces of her being told that she had mental illness. And when I first heard this story and I came across it, I believe there was somewhere in there that someone said that she had mental illness and that she had stopped taking her medications prior to her leaving her young toddler home alone. And I thought to myself, well, I don't think mental illness would make you just leave your toddler home alone, which I have experienced dealing with mental illness. I have family members that have had mental illness, and as well as dealing with mental illness in the medical field. And this is not per se mental illness. This is a woman that had several opportunities to leave her toddler with her mother because her parents were there. And so I don't have any sympathy, I don't think, for her. And I'm going to, and you guys, please leave comments in the bottom of the comment section when you see this video. Please leave comments in the bottom. But I will stop and let you all see the video.
So when we look at, these are items from her phone, her actions indicate to us that she is in Puerto Rico having a good time with friends, and that there is not a care in the world about the 16-month-old that was left alone in the pack and play. These pictures show somebody who is showing some discretion and judgment because she's having a good time. Meanwhile, this child is in a pack and play. She returns to Detroit, and while she is in Puerto Rico, the detectives were able to locate on the Ring doorbell that on 6/9/2023 at around 1:04 a.m. in the morning that you hear this child crying.
PM. Okay. So she was screaming like, probably for pain or something like that. In this morning when I wake up, I took her in the morning for JD, wake up, and she wake up, and when I see her, I see she looks like a really, really dry, like ¿cómo se dice cuando una persona se chupa? O sea, se, kind of like, yeah.
Oh, like her face was sunken in?
So, yeah. Y ahí fue que yo me asusté y dije,
Okay, now she tried to say that because she was vomiting and she had chills and she had been, sick and, all of this, that the rigor mortis had already set in. So that's the reason that I guess that's when this is the 911 call. So this is when she called police to tell them that her daughter was unalive and unresponsive. And this is the story that when they arrived that morning, this is the story that she tried to tell police officers, that this is how she found her daughter. This is 10 days after she got back home from her vacation. And so she comes back up with this story to say she had been vomiting and she had chills, and she came back in, and this is how she found her daughter, just overnight.
And then she is then brought into homicide. She's arrested and brought into homicide and has another conversation with Sergeant Gomez and Detective Powell. And she continues now to perpetuate her lies.
I hope you all can hear it.
Go to Detroit, Michigan on Monday. Monday morning? Okay. On Monday morning, what condition was Jaylene in? She was okay? Was she awake, asleep?
No, she wasn't sleeping.
She was sleeping when you left? Sorry. You went there on Monday at what time? In the morning?
Yeah.
Okay. 7 or 8.
Like every evening, I don't remember exactly.
Early in the morning?
Yeah.
But when you left out, Jaylene was sleeping in her playpen? Okay. So you go to Michigan. What time did you arrive in Michigan?
Yo soy Trujillo. Espérate, ya finish. Entonces, horas con 30 minutos. 2 hours and 30 minutes.
2 hours, 30 minutes? Okay. So you get there, when you arrive there, who do you meet up with?
Ya tú tengo otra yo llegué a un hotel, pero yo trabajaba de Uber, así que yo me puse a trabajar directamente en Uber.
She stayed at a hotel and she right away started working at Uber.
Pero ya después fui a visitar a otras amistades alrededor.
She went to visit some friends.
Y
Who did you go visit?
amistades.
Who? Give me a name.
David, that's his name.
David?
It was late. So you arrived in 2 hours later, you get a hotel. Where did you stay?
No me recuerdo bien si alguien estaba ni el hotel.
Okay, come on. Xavier went to Detroit, Michigan. You don't know what city, you don't know.
Now I'm going to fast forward. And play that.
There was found this notebook that had written harm from neglect. This is the location where Jaylene was housed for 10 days without anybody being present, any adult, in a 3x2 pack and play with maybe a bottle or two of milk and maybe some crackers. And the mattress that was found was urine laden and feces strewn throughout the pack and play. Now, this is where it begins, Your Honor. I come from an Italian Catholic family, and both my parents were immigrants and they spoke broken English. And we have this good interpreter that has been with us during this whole case. This is the very first interview, the crying of the 911, and this is the first interview that she has with a detective from homicide. Again, pay attention to her actions and how she speaks to this detective.
But in the last week, she get a vomiting too. Remember right now when you mentioned the vomiting. She get a vomiting the last week, Monday and Tuesday, two times. But I was trying controlling because I know I give to her Tylenol or something, for controlling the vomiting.
Okay. Come on, sir. This is my
Until-
supervisor, Sergeant Gomez.
I need to to her when she got a crying or vomiting. Hola, ¿qué tal?
Yo soy la señora de la observación que tengo una UCI.
Well, just to take note, Your Honor, she's
So
sitting in
yeah,
the chair.
that's the situation, and after that, she was refusing to the food, and she was with no appetite. I say, oh my God.
This is after last Monday and Tuesday when she was
Yeah,
throwing up?
yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Are you talking about Monday and Tuesday like 4 days ago?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what, yes,
Okay.
yes. Because we almost done this week, so I talk about, yeah.
Because what this week?
This week, yeah, I talk about because we almost done, the.
Oh, we're almost done with this.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so that was just Monday and Tuesday of this week. She was throwing up.
Yes.
And then how was she Wednesday and Thursday?
She was with no food, just with a meal because she was refusing. Maybe it's because she get a vomiting 2 days, before.
Yeah.
So that's why
What?
I was scary because I say, oh my God, let me go to the hospital because she doesn't eat anything, and she was lose tiny, her weight.
Yeah.
I lose, her weight. But right now, this morning when I wake up, she was asleep. She sleep every day 12 hours.
Okay.
She sleep like at 9 p.m. through 9 or 10 a.m.
Okay.
12 hours. So in this morning I was sleeping too. I never wake up. She was
What happened? What was going on last night?
last night she was crying a lot. And I see one moment when I was take a shower, and she was screaming like, I don't know, probably she get a pain.
Okay.
Maybe.
About what time was that last night?
Maybe at 7.
Okay, let me fast forward.
Sound discretion and judgment because she's having a good time. Meanwhile, this child is in a pack and play. She returns to Detroit.
Here, she's gallivanting around town. Daughter's in the this is where she's crying, and you can hear her crying and from the doorbell ring. And she's just, she's having a great time in Puerto Rico. Let's see. This is the let's see, the district attorney. Let's see what they're saying.
What's going on?
911 call.
I need you to tell me what happened. Okay, I'm gonna give you a few moments to find out. Crystal. Crystal. Please listen to me so I can help you. She don't respond. She's white. She's white. I'm white. You better hear her. Please, that's 6:30. I understand you. tell me who's right, who's right.
Let me fast forward.
We also know that children as early as age 4 to 5 months experience separation anxiety, with the most extreme anxiety around 9 to 18.
Now, they're reading the impact statements for the baby. Okay. So, because these are the closing arguments, these are the, this is the sentencing actually of Mrs. Candelario. So she's being sentenced. And so there was no one, even on her side of the family, that came up to read any impact statements for the little granddaughter. So there wasn't an uncle, there wasn't an aunt, there wasn't a grandparent that came up to read anything on behalf of this little precious angel. So the psychologist, I believe, this is who that was, or the nurse, and there was a EMT worker that came up to read on behalf of the baby. Those are the ones that came up to read on behalf of the baby. On behalf of Mrs. Candelario, there was her mother that came up to read on behalf of hers. And I'll get to that, the way I feel about that. And we'll get to that. So I will continue on with the story.
Jalen was 16 months old. This feeling of abandonment for days on end, coupled with the pain of starvation and extreme thirst, is a type of suffering I don't think any of us could ever fully fathom. So as a forensic pathologist, it is said that we are the voice of the dead and given the responsibility to speak for those who can't. So this morning, I'm honored to maintain that mission. Thank you.
In addition, Your Honor, just so the record is very clear, the state of Ohio has tried repeatedly to contact Jalen's extended family, and absolutely no one has called the prosecutor's office, has returned a call from the prosecutor's office, has done nothing to acknowledge that Jalen was even part of their family. So if people come in this morning, it's going to be on the side of Crystal Candelaria, because on the part of Jalen, in addition to Dr. Mooney, who speaks for the dead through autopsy findings, Sergeant Teresa Gomez and Detective TJ Powell are going to speak to you as you also look behind.
Okay, so I was calling her Candelario because that's the way they spelled it instead of Candelaria. They have it spelled Candelario with I-O, and it's really Candelaria. And also, it's the sergeant, so that I can get that right, that spoke. I thought it was EMT, but it was actually the sergeant that came up and spoke, gave excellent, and she was just in tears, this precious angel. So it's the sergeant, and then her name is Crystal Candelaria. They have it spelled Candelario, and I was like, Candelario, I've never heard of that, but it's Candelaria. So let's continue.
Behind me, it is law enforcement, whether it be from Cleveland Homicide, from the FBI, from the district, from EMS. These are all the people that participated in this case, and that they are here to be the family for Jalen Candelario, because her own family did
She
not
says
have the
Candelaria,
courage
Candelario.
to call the prosecutor's
So I don't
office
know.
and
Candelario.
ask what was going on with their case. They were more concerned with their own daughter. TJ is going to, Sergeant is going to speak first. Do you want her to come to the podium?
Absolutely. Same thing, Sergeant, just say your name and spell it for our court reporter so she can have an accurate spelling.
Teresa Gomez, Teresa Gomez. Morning, Your Honor. Your Honor, thank you for allowing me to be the voice for Jaylene Candelario, a beautiful angel whose life was cut short for no good reason.
Okay, so I was pronouncing it right. Candelario.
This tragedy should have never happened. I am Sergeant Gomez from the Homicide Unit. The entire Homicide Unit, Cleveland Homicide Initiative, and our partners from the FBI are here today in honor of baby Jaylene Candelario. When we were first notified of this horrific case, we were all heartbroken. But when we started digging deeper into the investigation, it was beyond horrific. It was revealed that the defendant, Crystal Candelario, left her own child alone for hours, which led to days, which led to unanswered questions.
Emotionally, physically trying to work, support these children. Fast forward to 2023. It's just overwhelming. She even tried to harm herself.
And this is when her mom
20 Motrin
gets up to
ended up in
testify.
Metro.
And this is when I ask the question.
Y el trastorno de neurosis de conversión fueron ganando terreno en su vida.
And because of all that, her depression, anxiety, her conversion neurosis disorder, all ended up consuming her.
Razón por la que siempre sufría desmayos y pérdida del conocimiento.
And as a result of this, she suffered fainting spells. To the point of depriving her of good judgment.
No, but I was thinking, I don't know if I can put myself back into that state of mind I was in. She hates herself for it. She thinks of her daughter,
And I'm looking in the back of this courtroom, and I think of Dr. Mooney's statements to me, Sergeant Detective Teresa Gomez, and Detective Paul, and these three experienced, very talented, hardworking individuals all called this one of the most horrific cases they've ever seen. I look in the back of this courtroom and I see law enforcement. I see individuals who have worked on this case who are here because it's also affected them and how horrific this crime is. It stunned people across this world because it defies one of the basic human responsibilities.
Okay, I'm going to stop this video here and see if I can get, I'm going to share the other one with you really quick. I think it's this one. No. Let's see. Okay, so let me go back first. We'll add that one.
bond between a mother and a child is one of the most purest and most sacred bonds between human beings. It's a relationship built on love, trust, and unwavering protection. Yet, in a shocking and betrayal of this fundamental trust, you committed the ultimate act of betrayal, leaving your baby terrified, alone, unprotected, to suffer what I heard.
Let me see. It's not that one. Let me go back here. I believe it's that one. This one. I'm going to.
Leaving your baby terrified, alone, unprotected, to suffer what I heard was the most gruesome death imaginable, with no food, no water, no protection, and lying in her own feces. You decided you needed a vacation. And what followed was absolute depravity. You left your baby, Jalen, trapped in a pack and play without food and water for 10 days. This wasn't simply an oversight. You could have saved Jalen's life many times. You could have found someone to watch her while you were gone. You could have taken her with you. While you were in Detroit or Puerto Rico, you could have called someone in Cleveland and told them that Jalen needed help. Dr. Mooney indicated that rigor mortis was found when they found her, which means she didn't die that long before you came home. Think about that. Despite all of her suffering, that little baby persevered, waiting for someone to save her. And you could have done that with a simple phone call. On count one, aggravated murder, I'm going to sentence you to life in prison without the possibility of parole. On count 5, I'm going to sentence you to 8 years to run concurrent to count 1.
Putin came out an hour and a half ago, and he essentially addressed the Russian nation. He offered his condolences. He called the attack on the Crocus Center a barbaric attack, as he put it. And he also then tried to create
Okay, so there you have it. She received life in prison plus 8 years. So I don't know what the point was for the 8 years, but I guess if there's some kind of loophole, she'll, have the 8 years. But I don't know what, the mother was saying about her, having fainting spells. Did she faint her way on to Puerto Rico? Did she faint her way onto that plane to go and party on to Puerto Rico? Did she faint her way then to Detroit? So to me, it's just they made excuses for this young lady. And as a parent, I'm not going to sit and make excuses for my child. Wrong is wrong and right is right. And I always say that. You're not going to commit. And that's what I say. She committed in. And you did it intentionally. Like the judge said, she could have found a babysitter. She could have called somebody. She could have called her mom. She could have called her parents or someone to say, I need a break. Can you watch the baby for me? And she didn't do that. If the mom, was up there making excuses for what she did, then I'm sure the mom would have been more than happy to watch her granddaughter for her. I'm thinking the mom knew that she pulled this type of behavior before. The reason the mom probably didn't want to watch her granddaughter, the mom probably knew that she pulled this type of behavior and probably said, no, I'm not going to, So I think the mom knew that she had a problem of some sort. It saddens me that the mom did not speak on behalf of her granddaughter, and no one in the family spoke or even acknowledged that this young Jalen was even gone, that nobody even bothered to speak on her behalf. That's very sad. Very sad. So may this little precious angel rest in peace where she's not suffering anymore. And Crystal will have the rest of her life to think about what she did. She might not even care. Probably doesn't, because she didn't care while she was gallivanting around in Puerto Rico and Detroit. She didn't care about what happened to her precious little jewel that God gave her. She didn't care about her. Didn't care one way or the other. She sat in that chair when she found her daughter unalived when she got home. And she made up this elaborate story about how she was sick, how she was sleeping 12 hours, how she was giving her this, how she was doing this, and she lied. So she didn't really care about the daughter. Didn't care one bit. So I doubt that she's even thinking about it. If she is thinking about it, she's probably thinking about it because she got caught and because she has to spend the rest of her life in there. And for the parents that condoned this type of behavior, shame on you. Shame on you. And I understand that we want to stand by our children, but there comes a point in time that wrong is wrong and right is right. And yes, I get it. We do love our children, and we will always love our children. I will always love my children. I will stand by my children and I will love them regardless to whatever they do, but we've got to correct them when they do wrong. We've got to make them know that wrong is wrong. And you have to let them and teach them that when they do wrong, that you're not going to sit there and say, pat them on the back and say that that's okay. Because then we have kids like this. And I think about the story that I did when I first started this channel about Carly Russell and the elaborate lie that she made up, and how her parents probably coddled her along the way. And that's what happened with her. I think about the another Soto case that I did about how the dad and the stepmom helped him, the son, cover up and hide the bodies of the two. If we keep allowing our children to make mistakes and we don't correct them when they make wrong, when they do wrong, and we keep trying to cover up their mistakes and not correct them when they make those mistakes, then we're hindering them. We're hindering them. So we've got to get it together as parents. We've got to get it together as parents, and we've got to correct our children when they're wrong. And we've got to let them know that they're wrong. Doesn't say that we don't love them, because to correct a child, that's love. To correct them is loving them. To tell them that they're wrong is to love them. I'm not saying that you have to beat them. No, I'm not saying that at all. But you've got to let them know when they're wrong. Because if you sit there and you coddle them when they do wrong, and you think that that's loving them, no, it's not. That's hindering them. You've got to teach a kid what's right. And you've got to let them know what's wrong. And for the mom to sit and make excuses for what her daughter did is not teaching her anything. So you've got to start. You can't keep making excuses for what your child does. And I always said, don't keep rewarding bad behavior. Don't do it. So, I seen the mom get up there and say, she's had fainting spells. She's done this. Fainting spells that has nothing to do with what she did. Because did she faint her way and then all of a sudden she woke up on the airplane? Because she fainted, what? She went to Puerto Rico. She came back. She went to Detroit. And all the while, she did not stop and check on her daughter. So shame on you, Mom. Shame on you, Dad. Stop coddling your children for wrong behavior and bad behavior. Stop making excuses for what they do when you see that they're wrong. Because all you're going to do is create a bigger monster in the long run. And when you continue to make excuses for their bad behavior, because this probably, went on all of her life. She probably did wrong, and they kept making excuses for her. And now the excuses that they made for her back then, they can't get her out of this. They're not going to, they can't get her out of it. So that those excuses that they kept coddling and making for her back when she was, now she's in prison, and they're not going to be able to get her out of this one. So if this is a warning for any other parents out there making excuses when you know that your kid is doing something wrong and you keep making excuses, let this story be an example for you. And may little Jalen Candelario rest in peace. And I know that the angels are holding her tight in their arms, and she's just probably having a ball up there because no one here cared for her. No one even cared enough to go up there and give an impact statement for her. Not even her own family. It took strangers to go up there to give an impact statement for this precious little angel. So may you rest in peace. And until next time, thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, and also please hit the likes button. I need the likes to get up. Every time you watch the video, please hit the likes button, share the video, and please hit the subscribe button. And please keep your comments coming. What do you think? How would you feel about the story? I know that we love our children, but please leave a comment. What do you think? Would you defend your kid? Would you do both? I mean, we are parents, and, it's easier said than done how you would feel, so let me know. let me know. I do respond to my comments, so let's keep it coming. I welcome all comments here as long as they are respectful. So please leave a comment, and hey, we can agree to disagree here. So until next time, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all my loyal subscribers that do take the time out to watch my videos. Until next time, bye.